rise and shine. It's a brand new day with Mo and News. It's time to have your say. She's got the scoop, the stories, all the latest trends. Mo's got the news, let's hear it. My dear friends, from politics to showbiz, no story's too small. Mo covers it all. She's got the inside call, her voice so smooth, like honey in the summer sun. With Mo on the mic, you know the news is always fun. Mornings with Mo, the best newsy news in the world. With her style so classic and her stories unfurled, from morning till night, she's got us in the know. Turn on your radio, let Mo's newsy news flow.
Good morning, everyone, and I have a quick update. So you will notice my hair still has blonde roots. Yesterday, being socially anxiety filled, I used an app to book my hair appointment. And apparently, the app, even though I put in a double process, which is a longer sort of hair thing, here for chick chat, um, they didn't allow enough time, so they weren't able to do anything with my hair, except give it a conditioning treatment, and I was just going to walk out because, social anxiety me was like, "Look, I tried this. I waited the whole summer to build up courage to go to a new salon," which is an odd thing to have a phobia of, and then but I did not want to. I know most hairdressers are independent contractors. I felt bad that the hairdresser had come, basically blocked off 2 hours of her time for something that she wasn't gonna get paid for. So, you know, I got a conditioning treatment and I have a marathon appointment set up for next week, but it was a little disappointing. So, yes, my hair continues to be my hair. Which I was like, Honestly, I don't care what color you put on it. I wear a bunch of wigs. I would just like to have my blonde roots covered up. Thank you." Anywho, enough about me. Let's get to what in the Walmart bingo card destroying headlines today. And I've got a couple of them, you guys. First story up. Actually, wait, let me introduce and say hi to everyone. Good morning, Wolfram. As always, I appreciate so much your mod, contributions. I could not run this channel without my mods because, honest to goodness, I don't know how to put up links. So thank you so much, mods. Um, my mini 67. Good morning. Good morning, Christine. I hope you enjoyed your cross stitch. I hope it got to you. Justin Smith, good morning. And Farn Sim, good morning from the UK. Awesome. Janie J, good morning. Greedy Bloke. And Veilhammer. Well, it is what it is. Lady Sam Crafts and More, good morning. Everyone, good morning. So our first story is that a California principal has been placed on leave for a seemingly inappropriate dance with a mascot at a pep rally just days into the new school year. Is this man why? I have all the questions. All the questions. Check out Vielhammer's channel. He cleans up audio on trials and makes them much more watchable, interrogations, things like that. Definitely a good resource if you want to hear trials. Well, actually hear trials, because I think courts are religiously against, audio that works. A California high school principal was placed on administrative leave Monday after he seemingly danced inappropriately with a mascot during a pep rally just 3 days into the new school year. Bunkhatch Colony High School principal Robert Nunes was captured rolling himself towards the school's Viking mascot in an office chair while the song Pony from the R&B singer Genuine played during the 40-second video. Now, funny story about, Pony and the Genuine song. So I was a very, very naive, very good Catholic schoolgirl when Pony came out. And I really didn't understand why this rapper was so interested in My Little Ponies, which could possibly be why my mom was having a heart attack when she heard me listen to the song, and I was like, "No, he just likes horses." It kind of went right over my head. So, just, spoiler alert, years and years later, Pony from Genuine has nothing to do with equestrian sports, if any of you were very naive 11-year-olds. Now, the dance segment took a bizarre turn when Nunez fired off gold confetti at the mascot, who seconds before appeared to be dancing provocatively. Please tell me it was placed in, a jungular region to just bring this full clown world. The principal then stands up face to face with the mascot, trading places in the office chair. N The principal approaches him and appears to place his hands on the mascot's chest, then slides his hands down the character's chest before being surrounded by other excited students on the gym floor, according to video obtained by the outlet. I pretty much. I was the exception to the rule. I was born with, I think, entire generations worth of Catholic guilt. I Instead of original sin, I just got every single Catholic's guilt for everything imaginable. So I was that kid that was like, "No, we shouldn't do this. We're going to get punished and found out." And I'm not sure if it's a venial or a cardinal sin, but that's a whole lot of Hail Marys I'm gonna have to talk to the priest about. And I just don't feel like doing that. I was the goody two shoes, completely oblivious kid. Um, this is too far for even California. I mean, and that's saying a lot. And then the principal shouted, "What happens at Buckhatch stays at Buckhatch," uh, into a microphone while playing the infamous song, kind of saying what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. What the actual heck? Again, this is weird on so many levels. You've got a mascot and a man doing sexy dance at a school prep rally. What is going to Genuine song? I mean, listen, I think the Chipmunk movies are weird for putting some, like bad romance and, very adult sexualized songs in the Chipmunk movies. And my husband's like, "You get weirded out by the weirdest things." And I was like, "No, they're supposed to be little kid chipmunks singing about, your disco stick." I'm just saying, it's all kind of corrupt, at least to me. But I'm a weirdo, so, and a redhead on the internet who's not even a real redhead. So take that with, a ramen packets full of salt for all it's worth. Now, the decision to sideline this principal as an investigation happens uh, was part of commitment to maintaining a safe and respectful environment for all students and staff. Now, the principal will also not be allowed to participate in any school related duties or activities while the district is conducting a comprehensive review to the situation. I mean, the only thing that could have made this worse is if they were playing R. Kelly. I mean, there's not much worse you can do at this point. I was like, did the kids know what was going on? Like, is everyone else getting it? People were asking parents when they saw the video, and the kids said, "Yeah, everyone got it. We all got it." You know, it's like the first 2 or 3 days of school. So apparently the kids organized the theme of this pep rally, and it was a Vegas theme. Now, why we had to bring, dancing mascots, doing weird dances with the principal and my pony into it seems to be where things again, this is what happens when you let teen S posters run your pep rally. And who the heck saw this? What principal, what adult person said, "You know, it'll be fine." In true drinker fashion, like, "Nah, it'll be fine." So my guess is that this principal will be updating his LinkedIn bio fairly soon. In an update to a story that we have covered, and there's not been a lot court-wise that's come out about it yet, but the dad whose terminally ill mother unalived his ex in a self-deletion unaliving, has to return to New York City for a custody hearing with the victim's parents. So, I do believe that there are going to be a lot of custody battles and more things in this case that are going to come out, and the sad thing is I hope that there are 1 or 2 or all of these adults are going to put these children first after the losses they've sustained. But sometimes when you add terror, horror, and a traumatic experience, it is hard for people to see outside their own pain, and I hope that someone is advocating for these children. Without further ado, let's get into the story. The man whose mother fatally shot his estranged partner before taking her own life in the Upper East Side horror must return to the city for a court battle involving the victim's parents, a judge ruled. Manhattan Supreme Court Justice Michael Katz ordered an in person hearing for early September, according to a signed order Monday. The move paves the way for a face to face showdown between the man, Zachariah Reed, and his dead ex's parents, Nancy and John Galloway. Reed's terminally ill mother, ex Chicago probation officer Kathleen Lay, 65, attacked and shot his ex, special education teacher Marissa Galloway, 45, on a Manhattan street last month in an alleged sick effort to gain her son full custody of his and Galloway's 4-year-old daughter, Lily. Lay then deleted himself. Now, Galloway's grieving parents have claimed in a lawsuit that Reed has since absconded with Lily to his multi-million dollar home in Chicago, preventing them from their treasured close relationship with their motherless granddaughter. The grandparents currently have custody of Marissa's younger daughter, Marielle, one who was a product of a donor. Good morning, Justin. The grandparents' emergency filing asked the judge to cement the part of the custody agreement that had previously been hashed out by Reed and Galloway over Lily and allegedly gave them rights to her should anything happen to their daughter. The grandparents also demanded that the young girl be returned to New York metro area immediately to assure that. Now, the judge denied those requests, at least for now. Instead, the signed order declares that Reed and Galloway's parents will have to hash out a new visitation schedule involving them. Nancy and John Galloway included claims in their affidavit that Reed's mother shot their daughter to pave a way for him to get full custody of Lily. Quote, clearly, Reed's mother had a deliberate plan to unalive Marissa in order to provide custody for her son, the court papers charge. Unfortunately, Reed has demonstrated an absolute intention to further those same goals as his mother, as he refused to provide us with any access to Lily in almost 3 weeks. Now, I will say that, um, you know, he might be grieving too. I mean, imagine if he had no idea of this plan. His mother one day, just out of the ether, unalives not only his ex-wife, but herself, leaving behind all these unanswered questions. Yes, she did leave a letter that was 7 pages long, but a 7-page letter is never going to explain why you did this sufficiently. There is no amount of pages that you can write to, justify unaliving someone. I truly dislike it, and look, I have been guilty of it. I had to pull my own cranium out of my backside in order to put, you know, a child first and not be you know, hang on to bitterness about something instead of putting the child first. Granted, I will say in my own defense, when I realized I had my head up my behind, I got it out of there quick, fast, and in a hurry. But I did. I absolutely did. And I wish people could admit that they've maybe, wanted to punish their ex or, things like that. And really just pull their heads out of their behinds and put kids first because I don't see this getting anything but really, really ugly. And doggone it. It's just I have a feeling this is gonna get much more ugly, and I hope that there is someone that is advocating for this child. In absolutely not on my bingo card, what in the hell is going on here news, a traveler with a bloody head was ordered off an American Airlines flight and arrested when he wouldn't deboard. Now, I am not gonna say that I stink out loud at shaving my legs, and my legs might look at it like this, on any occasion I attempt to shave, my shins may have, nick marks from scars and everything, but I'm not getting on a plane without cleaning my legs off. What the heck is going on here? It would be Florida. This are we shocked in the least bit? This is a Florida man. We are not shocked. A man and his wife were arrested at a Florida airport Tuesday after refusing to get off of American Airlines flight when the crew became concerned about the man's bloodied head. The pair was escorted off a Las Vegas bound plane in handcuffs in Miami International Airport by police and officers after crew members grew concerned about what was potentially a biohazard, according to local reports. Eugenio Ernesto Hernandez Gardner, 27, boarded the plane with a bloody head and a bandage that appeared to be falling off. According to a live stream video, by his wife on TikTok, why does he have a bandage on the back of his head when it looks like the front of his head is where he did his, really bad fade, his self fade? Crew members initially asked him to clean the bloody area, which appeared to be an aftermath of a hair transplant surgery. Well, that makes more sense. But ooh, if you look like that, ooh, just go bald, just shave it all. That just oh. Uh, he then and to replace the bandage, but he said he didn't have any extras to do it. Okay, you're telling me that no moms on the plane had some extra, super de duper maxi pads we could have just, I'm saying where there's a will, there is a mom with a bag that has the way. They then told him he must deboard the plane because they were concerned both about his medical condition and a potential for contamination inside the cabin, according to arrest records reviewed by local stations. Uh, but he and his 32-year-old wife, Yusendes Blanca Loyola, refused to comply. Loyola reported that if she and her husband couldn't fly, then no one else could either, according to the report. Oh, sweetie, you're confusing, mob justice and people that want to just get the F where they're going. If two individual people stand against, a bunch of people that would just like to get the heck where they're gonna go, y'all are gonna be escorted off the plane. It was interesting to think you could hold these people, captive so you could go, but no. See, there we go. My mini me knows what we're talking about. We've got stand next to anyone who has a big bag. If you're ever in an airplane, I'm telling you, I profile these people out because I'm like, look, if we end up like lost, I'm sitting next to the chick with the bag that's, the size of an Aldi's tote bag or an IKEA tote bags, because that chick has, like, a tent, a heating pad, probably a satellite phone, flares, I don't know, a water decontamination kit, and some old Werther's Originals that, were just lightly sucked on, and maybe a CVS receipt. I'm just saying. Oh, am I muted? Oh, okay, sorry. Um, so they called the police, obviously. They then refused the cops and they placed them in handcuffed and forcibly removed them as the wife yelled in Spanish that her husband just had surgery and it was dried blood, according to clips on TikTok. The crowd of all the other passengers on the flight that were forced to deplane over health concerns cheered and clapped as the teary, duo were escorted through the gate. The husband and wife were first brought to the hospital to be evaluated for the bleeding before they were transported to Turner Guilford Night Correctional Center, authorities said. Leola also had plastic surgery while visiting Miami, according to videos that she posted to TikTok under the name La Pony. Commenters wrote that they were not cleared by the doctor to fly before they got into the plane heading back to Las Vegas just a few days after their surgeries. Yeah, I mean, there was there are reasons that doctors tell you certain things. I mean, some of it might be, like, "Hey, your BMI is too high." And you're like, "Look, I'm working on it, but have you tasted a Little Debbie?" Like, that's one that I'm like, "Okay, doctor, we'll work on it." Or, you can just mall walk, um, which is one of the crazy, insane things that one of my doctors told me when I had 3 children under 4. He was like, "You could just mall walk." And I said, "Do you understand that means me taking out the quad stroller, taking it in and out of my car with my boys?" "Okay, I'll just walk in my neighborhood." So these people, FAFO must come back. We must start having consequences for people that simply do not want to live in the contract of, polite society. I am sorry. Great for you that you got new hair, but that does not give you the right to inconvenience everyone. Your, algebra of your special uniqueness doesn't mean that you get to, infringe on my daily life. I am glad that you are a special snowflake. I am glad that you have all these unique characteristics. Could you please just ring up my order? And if you would like to be called some random name, give me a name tag. Because right now, sweetheart, I am trying to be kind to you, but you got pink hair, a beard, and you're wearing a tutu. I have no idea where to go with this. It's like I tell everyone, 87% of people just want to be polite and kind, but we don't have the time or the energy to deal with the algebra and quantum physics of your just terminal uniqueness. So give us a hint, but don't make us have to follow this 90-page dissertation about who you are. I'm just trying to be a nice person, but y'all are driving me nuts. Like, I'm trying to be nice, but y'all are making me insane. I think he got a bunch of hair plugs, but if that's how it looks after you do it, I mean, ugh. And, well, this is a spicy meatball of a story. A German court upholds the conviction of a former secretary that worked at a, camp where they concentrated people, if you get my drift, at the age of over 90. A German court on Tuesday rejected an appeal by a 99-year-old woman who was convicted of being accessory to more than 10,000 murders for her role as a secretary to a commander of, a concentration camp during World War II. The Federal Court of Justice upheld the conviction for Ermengarde Furniture, who was given a 2-year suspended sentence in December 2022 by a state court in northern Germany. She's accused of being part of the apparatus that helped the camp near Danzig, now the Polish city of Dansk or Danix. Look, there's a G at the beginning of this, but I'm not Polish, or at least I don't remember being Polish. So she was convicted of being an accessory to 10,505 cases and an accessory to attempted unaliving in 5 cases. A federal court in Leipzig last month, Furcher's lawyers cast doubt on whether she was really an accessory to crimes committed by the commander and other senior camp officials, on whether she had truly been aware of what was going on. Danzig. Thank you. Mads, what I think happened, and I think I vaguely remember this, but I believe they found her later in life and decided to retroactively punish her. But since I think she was 97 when they found her, it's kind of like, what are you going to do with her? So the court said that the judges were convinced that Furcher, quote, knew and through her work as a stenographer in the commandant's office of this camp from June 1st, 1943 to April 1st, 1945, it deliberately supported the fact that, she was basically writing down numbers. She was writing down all of the sort of bureaucratic number bean counting, kind of matrix that all of these camps and machinations relied on. So I think it is a little far-fetched that, she's writing all these things down. And unless she is as observant as the Canton Police Department, which would be stressing. Thank you, all of my chat. I am learning all the new things, how to pronounce things in my super Midwestern affect. So this is good. So Dansk. Awesome. I love it when chat tells me things I don't know because I'm like, I never take offense because I'm like, I don't know. I'm asking you guys. It'd be a real jerk move if I asked you guys and then got upset when you told me the answer. Awesome. I now speak Polish. I'm putting that on my LinkedIn bio. I'm just not going to tell them it's only a, city and only after help. Now, prosecutors said during the original proceedings that Frencher's trial may be the last of its kind. However, Special Federal Prosecutor's Office in Ludwigsburg, tasked with investigating, that era war crime, say 3 more cases are pending with prosecutors or courts in various parts of Germany. With the suspects now at a very advanced age, the questions increasingly arise over the suspects' fitness to stand trial. Germany's main Jewish leader welcomed the ruling. Quote, for Holocaust survivors, it's enormously important for a late form of justice to be attempted, Josef Schulster, the head of the Central Council of Jews, said in a statement. The legal system sent an important message today. Nearly 80 years after the Holocaust, no line can be drawn under the Nazi crimes, he added, end quote. The Furcher case is one of several in recent years that build on a precedent established in 2011 with the conviction of former Ohio auto worker John Dimajenjuk as an accessory to murder on allegations that he served as a guard at another camp. Now, he denied those allegations and died before his appeal could be heard. German courts previously required prosecutors to justify charges by presenting evidence of a former guard's participation in a specific unaliving, often a near impossible task. However, prosecutors have successfully argued during trials that helping the camp function was enough to convict someone as an accessory to all of the unalivings that happened there. A federal court subsequently upheld the 2015 conviction of a former Auschwitz guard, Oscar Groening, on the same reasoning. Furcher was tried in juvenile court because she was 18 or 19 at the time of the alleged crimes, and the court couldn't establish anything beyond a doubt of the maturity of her mind then. In that ruling, presiding judge Gabrielle Kreidner wrote that the fact that, that wasn't always a unaliving camp and that had existed for, you know, that particular purpose, uh, it wasn't relevant, and she said it was the catastrophic detention conditions and forced labor still led to cruel deaths of inmates, even if they weren't even if that wasn't the purpose of the camp. Obviously, if you work people with little to no food, little to no rest, cramped conditions, you are putting in place every single instrumentality that, you know, infections, exhaustion, malnutrition, all these things need to breed to create death. I will say that I think upholding her, I think that is the problem, Jedi Jess. I agree with you. I struggle with these because I understand they were part of a horrific system, but how much choice did the lower people really have? I understand the upper officers, but an assistant. I think that as more things come out and the true masterminds can't get caught, people still want their pound of flesh. People still want that, you know, catharsis of getting some kind of justice. And I think that this is an outgrowth of that. I mean, we're basically taking the elderly people that did something terrible, made poor judgment calls. If the entire population that was being oppressed stood up as one, I feel like I'm in a bug's life. There are more ants than there are crickets, and if we ever understood that, we'd be unstoppable, but that's the truth. And I think it's a cathartic release of a nation's mental grief grief and guilt for not stopping something. So, it's I think maybe just another way that Germany is trying to really break all ties with that era in its history, and I think that that has been a very strong overreaction to the point where even dissent about any sort of historical facts is a crime. I think there is a balance. You can, as Kamala Harris says, you can be what is it? You can be unbound by the past and something, something word salad. But I think there is a better way to have an entire population with collective original sin guilt over their head at all time. I don't think that makes for a productive society. I don't think that, perpetually punishing, selected past events while ignoring others is good for humanity, unburdened by what has been. I think that, she might have an actual point in that, yes, remember that, see it as horrible, but you are not the same person. Greedy bloke, I get your point too. I can see both sides. I can see wanting justice, and I can see, you know, it was a terrible evil. And again, we try to make sense of evil. We try to put it in a box. We try to enact our justice on this earth. And you make choices. There was a man that stood in, that big rally, and he, crossed his hands. He did not salute. He made a choice. And I think that everyone has that choice. And unfortunately, I'm seeing echoes of that today. There are things I can't say on YouTube, and I have to sort of change words and create language creoles. If all of us creators decided one day to just say, F it, YouTube, you're going to have to, cancel all of us, and then where will you be? We are your product. Then I think we could effect more change. And right now, we just sit back and we find workarounds. And maybe that's something that personally I have to look into, um, you know, my sort of cowardice and why I don't do that. Um, and we have to look. Oh, okay, Grady Bloke. I don't know it fully. I am not a WW2 early Austrian painters governmental, but I do recollect that um, you had to have been part of the party to get many of these jobs. So she picked a side, and I guess that's right. I mean, again, I don't know. If there were easy answers, we would have figured this out in 1945, and we would not still be debating it. It's not word salad, you're right. Unburdened by what has been. It's not word salad, as so many people say, but it's a dangerous attitude where politicians think they can just invent their perfect society without looking to the past. You are right. It's You can't untether yourself from a foundation and expect anything to grow. That's my look at it. But this is not a political channel, so let's get back to another assistant principal. Only this one a good principal, I hope. What is going on in high schools? So this is from Texas. An assistant principal airlifted from North Texas school after a student attack. She is recovering. What in the absolute flippity flip is going on in schools? An assistant principal in Corsicana was airlifted to a hospital after a quote unquote classroom disruption, is now at home and recovering, Star Telegram media partner WFAA TV reported. Um, Chandra Rogers, an assistant principal at Collins Intermediate School, was injured in an incident last week. The school district said she's been released from the hospital and is recovering at home, but more information about her condition was not released. Principal Tiffany Bortz said in a letter to parents that there was a disruption in the classroom August 15th that resulted in Rogers' injuries, according to WFAA. There were fewer than 10 students in the classroom, but details on what happened were not released. One student who has not been identified was taken into custody after the disruption. Nobody else was injured or in danger, says the school, but the campus was placed on a hold status as they tended to Rogers. The Navarro County District Attorney's Office said the student, a boy, had a detention hearing, is now under supervision of his parents with an ankle monitor. Well, let me say that my mini me, that's a terrible idea. You all saw that I led Nick on a nature path to nowhere with, both of our crippleness. It was possibly a dangerous thing. It seems like his parents didn't have him under supervision because I don't know about you guys. Gentle parenting was not so much a concept in, the latchkey kid generation. But let me tell you, if I had sent my assistant principal to airlift medical attention needing, I would still be in the ICU, and my mom would be there for me to just wake up to tell me, "What the hell were you thinking?" I'm just maybe if the parents had not, I don't know, absconded from their duties, we wouldn't be having this. Now, officials said that charges were pending against the student. The exact charges he will face will be decided after the police complete their investigation. Well, I can tell you they don't life light you out unless you are seriously injured and they need you to get there quick, fast, and in a hurry. Or as Jamie says, chip, chop, chip. So these had to be fairly grievous wounds. And I am glad she's recovering. I'm glad we didn't lose, you know, her to an assault student. I mean, do we now have to talk about student control? Good morning, KDP. So I am glad she is good, and hopefully this young man takes a time to really look at himself because this is not the way you get anything done. Self control is part of being a man. You are given, extra power, stronger muscles, things like that. But with that comes with great power comes great responsibility. But that's the same thing I'm trying to teach my boys. Yes, you're stronger. Yes, you could use that, strength to knock your brother's towers down. You could use it to be destructive, or you could use it to protect things. And boys are losing their role models. Every single movie is about a girl boss and her dumb as rocks male companion and the dumb evil men that go around. Boys are losing that, mythic character that they could follow. Yes, he makes mistakes. He stumbles along the way. Luke Skywalker, you know, but he grows up and learns to protect, use his powers to protect, to be a shield. And when you take away those mythoses, when you take away these foundational stories that used to teach us stuff and try to amalgamate what you think society should be, you take away those grounding stories that boys need. Boys need a princess to save. They need a dragon to slay. They have all this extra energy, and you have to show them how to use it for constructive ways. And we have so many lost boys. And I don't know that I was as passionate about this before I had boys. I don't know that I felt this as deeply, the loss of good, self-sacrificial heroes for boys, um, as keenly as when I didn't have them. But now, I have to go out and look for things. Well, true. You know, it can work, but I would love to see more movies where we celebrate the duality of the different strengths. Women don't have to be men to be strong. There is power in being able to create life. Believe me, it's not easy. I tried it 6 times, but I'm gonna get off my soapbox because I have the weirdest and most awful headline beyond the, gentleman who enjoyed relations with donkeys and a dog, which has also been a headline this year. What the actual schmell? A woman admits being part of a monkey torture network. What in the evil, like, monkey version of Epstein Island is going on in this freaking case? What the actual schnell? A woman has pled guilty to being involved in a global monkey torturing ring. Andrea Orme's role was exposed after a BBC investigation into the network, which began live on YouTube before moving to private groups on a messaging app named Telegram. Worcester Crown Court heard the 56-year-old played a major role in an online group that paid for baby monkeys to be taken from their mothers, then tortured and unalived for pleasure. What in the hostile human centipede? Ma'am, you do not that is what? What in the actual Fazoli's on fire? Are you I'm trying not to curse. Y'all can tell. Trying to be a better person at some point. Do what? I mean, what in the this is how Planet of the Apes freaking starts. Which Worcester, but it I may be saying it wrong. Yes, this is y'all, I don't even think I'm gonna give Lord Chippy because I don't want him to get, food poisoning. This might be a sun operation. Orme from Upton upon Severn, Worcestershire, was charged with publishing obscene article and intentionally encouraging or assisting an offense, namely causing unnecessary suffering to a protected animal. Worcester, thank you. Just hey, at least I don't think Wales is in, Scotland anymore. I am learning. By the end of this, I'm gonna be like Carmen Sandiego. I am gonna know all the geography. You have no idea. Ormes will be sentenced at, Worcester Crown Court on 15th of October alongside another woman, Holly Leigh Gressley, 37, from Kidderminster, who also admitted being part of the group. BBC journalists went undercover in one of the main Telegram torture groups where hundreds of people would gather to come up with extreme torture ideas and commission people in Indonesia or other Asian countries to carry them out. What in the absolute snuff film Elon, all of them launched into space. Where in the hell is what is wrong with you people? Were you not hugged enough? Were you not told you were a special little snowflake and your algebra of uniqueness was the most important thing? Because holy crap, who does this stuff? That's it. Y'all are all going to the sun. Just absolutely terrible. The goal was to create bespoke films in which a baby long-tailed macaque monkey was just tortured, sometimes being unalived on film. In relation to the charge of publishing obscene articles, I'm glad they only have this picture of because y'all, I'm speechless. Orme was accused of sending one image and 26 videos featuring this torture into chat groups between the 14th of March 2022 and the 16th of June 2022. A charge of incurring an offense involved a £10 payment by Orme to a PayPal account. Uh, the price was seeing a baby, it was the price of seeing this baby tortured. Who does this? I mean, what in the spirit cooking wildest dreams of Hillary Clinton and Nancy Pelosi and the, the witches of Macbeth is this crap? LaGracely admitted to uploading 22 images and 132 videos of these monkeys in the chat groups in May. Good morning, Fraud at Wrangler. I guess it was £10 to watch these videos to it's so sick. Please tell me that these women get a full life sentence. And I know that's rare in England, but English people really love animals. So I'm kind of and find all these people subscribe to this chat room. I mean, England, I know you're finding people who were even vaguely near the, protest. You can find them. Find these people. Friday, I have been sick too. It must be going around. I think I am going to take to spraying myself with Lysol. You're probably right, my mini me 67, which is gross, but probably right. Despite of them both living in Worcestershire, the women are not believed to have known each other and used pseudonyms online. In their part, the network had uncovered was uncovered by real journalism by BBC. So BBC, you did something right. Just explain, Gary Sparkles or whatever his name was, Gary Glitters. Explain that guy. Police officers and staff spent more than a year recovering thousands of files from 20 devices owned by the women. The court heard how Orme was a key member of the groups, welcoming newcomers and organizing the bids. Police say members based around the world could discuss different ways in which the monkey could be taken out, voting and paying for their favored methods of torture. Men in Indonesia were taking the monkeys from their families in the wild and carrying out this horrific crime. Chief Inspector Kevin Lax Kelly, head of the UK National Wildlife Crime Unit, said it was the worst case that he had dealt with during his 22 years as an officer. We have seen the worst that humanity can bring. And take a minute to look. I know people have different thoughts about police, but I can tell you if I were forced as part of an investigation or I was doing a video on this and I was forced to watch these videos, which would be like torture to me because I could not stand not being able to help someone. Having to watch all of these films, I'm sure took a huge psychological toll on all of the people that had to film or had to investigate this. So hopefully they are getting support um, and help with this because I can't imagine, having this in my memory. This would be awful. I would ask for hypnosis to block all of these memories. Now, the animals in this case were unnecessarily, tortured. There's no reason for it. There was no rhyme other than profit and sick pleasure, uh, as far as I can tell. It's the most horrifying content that people have ever seen. And I hope that she gets sentenced with a full life, order. I hope that Gen Pop justice comes around. I mean, I'd yeah, nah. Can we stuff her in with Sarah Boone? I'm glad you're feeling a little better, Fundian. I know everyone's been a bit sick. I think it's the start of the school year. Our wonderful little ferals bring home all sorts of everything. Uh, I guess he wasn't, it wasn't his way, but he did try to pay. A man pointed a force multiplier at a Burger King drive-through worker who refused crystal for a payment for his Whopper. He had, a crystal of some method acting substance, and he was like, I have no money, but yes, I can give you something else. A man who went on a force multiplier spree after he pulled, said force multiplier at an employee at Burger King in Colorado after the, worker refused to accept non-street legal pharmaceuticals as payments for this Whopper has been sentenced to a staggering 143 years in prison. Eugene Robertson, 40, was convicted by a Colorado jury on 8 counts, including attempted murder with extreme indifference, felony menacing, illegal discharge of a firearm, harassment, reckless endangerment, and possession of a controlled substance. Yes, I can. If you, I think I might have sent you an email, so I should have your email, but I can do that. Well, I mean, who are we to judge? He was trying to pay in some way. He was in the barter system. He's a full anarcho-capitalist. He's like, "We're going back to bartering." Uh, According to an August 15th statement from the Arapahoe County District Attorney's Office, according to the prosecutor, Robertson pulled up to a Burger King drive-through window on Buckley Road in Aurora on October 17th, 2022 at around 11 p.m. Now, he tried to pay for his meal with, drugs. And when the drive-through employee refused because they don't have a, crystal section on their cash drawer, dang it, Burger King, there's a whole market out there. Why not? Um, he pulled out his piece and pointed it at the worker before eventually driving away. However, not long after that, police responded to a shooting at 7-Eleven, a convenience store across the street from the Burger King. The store clerk said the man walked in and pointed at his head. When the man noticed a television surveillance camera system, he shot the screen and left the store. In the parking lot, witnesses reported seeing the man shooting toward another person and his girlfriend before leaving, the district attorney's office said. Now, no one was injured in the shooting at the convenience store, but just after midnight, as police were on the lookout for a man matching Robertson's description, police dispatchers received another emergency call. This time it was from a woman calling from an apartment building on East Kentucky Avenue, just minutes away from the convenience store. She said that Robertson was knocking on her door, and when she wouldn't open up, he opened fire. Multiple people were in the home, but again, prosecutors said no one was injured by, any of these stray bullets. Police were searching around the grounds of the apartment building when they spotted him on foot. He took off into some bushes but was quickly captured and arrested. Eric Ross, a spokesperson for the 18th Judicial Attorney, um, John Kellner, told NBC affiliate KOAA that the 143 sentence handed down to Robertson was the right call because Robertson put a slew of victims in fear for their lives in just a single evening. Also, because we can't trust you in society. You have proven that if you don't get your way, you cannot exercise any modicum of self-control. Part of prison is we don't trust you in society. We need to be protected from you, and I wish the judicial system would remember that sometimes, because it feels like we have given criminals god tier status, and we want to logic out the reasoning behind their behavior. We want to make excuses. Sometimes you have to go through hard stuff to seek redemption. Sometimes you have to, hit rock bottom to get that personal growth. And I feel like we're robbing people of that chance for redemption when we excuse their crimes because of, a bad childhood or things like that. We take away their ability to change because it's some outside force. It's something they can't control. But you can. Goodness, there are many people that have had a less than stellar childhood that go on to be great sources of good and love and light in their community, and we don't give them a pass. We don't say, "Hey, you could have done all this." They didn't give themselves a pass. Would you quit it? In our final story and good news, evil loses, uh, goodness prevails. Disney is pulling their scum bucket, wrongful death. He got Disney Plus, so we should be able to arbitrate. They have dropped that motion. They have dropped that motion uh, because they got skewered for it, rightly so. That was probably the most inherently evil thing that I've ever seen Disney do, and Disney is known for taking evil legal shenanigans to a level that is almost, like a maestro of painting. Disney has abandoned an effort to force arbitration in the wrongful death case brought by a woman's estate after she ate at a restaurant in Disney Springs in Florida and passed away from an allergic reaction. Now, this woman died in October 2023, allegedly because her meal at Raglan Road Irish Pub and Restaurant contained either nuts or dairy, well-known allergens to which she was deathly allergic. In February, her widower, Jeffrey Piccolo, filed a wrongful death lawsuit in Orange County Circuit Court. In May, the multinational entertainment company responded to the lawsuit by arguing that since Piccolo had once signed up for Disney Plus free trial membership and purchased park tickets with that account before dining at Raglan Road, the lawsuit could not be dispensed with in a court of law. Rather, Disney said the widower would have to resolve the dispute through mandatory binding third party arbitration. Now the company is shifting gears on their legal steamboat. Read, they effed around and found out. Disney is about as popular as herpes right now. You've got the only thing they have going for them right now is that Wolverine and or Deadpool and Wolverine is doing spectacularly. You've got Gal Gadot and Rachel Zegler doing, you know, a bunch of just ridiculous things that are going to end up in a boycott. You've got the Lord Farquaad hair on this chick that's supposed to be playing Snow White, not to mention these demonic looking, dwarves that are uncanny valley to the nth degree. It's Disney is continuously stepping on a rake here lately, and I don't know where they're gonna stop. I don't know if they're ever gonna hit rock bottom or if we're going to see, an icon from, my latchkey kid days and from, when Walt built it up. If we're gonna see that stumble, it's become a juggernaut, but it's being helmed by morons. Good morning, Mary Casey. Thank you so much. Now, quote, "At Disney, we strive to put humanity above all considerations. That's why you filmed Mulan near a Uyghur, work camp, happy work camp. Really? Disney? I think South Park got Mickey Mouse right." Disney park chair division Josh D'Amaro said in a statement released Monday night, "With such unique circumstances as the one in this case, we believe the situation warrants a sensitive approach to expedite a resolution for the family who have experienced such a painful loss. As such, we've decided to waive our right to arbitration and have the matter proceed to court." Read, we are covering our behinds. We did not think that everyone was going to be mad that we tried to pull this Disney Plus you must arbitrate, and way too shade it in, we were just trying to get money to the family quicker. I mean, all I imagine is Dr. Evil, Bob Iger petting a white cat in his office, turning around like a Bond villain. Good morning, Shizzy Raid. Shizzy's rating as soon as we're on our last story. Dang it. The estate said that Disney's original possession meant anyone who signs up for a Disney Plus free trial will forever have waived the right to a jury trial enjoyed by them in any future estate to which they are associated. As can be seen from the prior sentence, this argument borders on surreal, the plaintiffs argued in a 123-page filing on August the 2nd. And I might actually read that to see exactly how they destroyed Disney's thing, because I love reading kind of longer, more, you know, uh, interesting legal things. So I might read that. Now the demand for arbitration has gone to the wayside. The parties are left to discuss the facts of the case and the law. Piccolo, his mother, and his wife ate at the Raglan Road Irish pub and restaurant in Disney Springs on the evening of October 5th, 2023. The trio only chose the restaurant in question because both Disney and the staff there made it repeatedly and abundantly clear that Raglan Road had proper safeguards to protect patrons from food allergies, as, his wife was highly allergic to dairy and nuts. Raglan Road advertises and represents to the public that food allergies and/or accommodations of people with food allergies is a top priority, and patrons and guests may consult with a chef or special diets trained cast member before placing an order. And at all times, material plaintiff relied on these representations in selecting Disney Springs Raglan Road for dinner. The lawsuit filed against Great Irish Pubs Florida and Disney World Parks Resorts US reads, but she passed away from an allergic reaction later that same night, and that does not appear to be in dispute. According to a copy of the autopsy report obtained by Law and Crime, the medical examiner performed a series of tests and reviewed, medical records before determining she had died of anaphylaxis. The matter of death was determined to be an accident. The autopsy report shows that the doctor had very high levels of both nut and dairy allergens in her system when she died. While Disney has largely eschewed addressing the merits of Piccolo's allegation, the company's May filing did briefly attempt to rubbish the plaintiff's case on its own terms. In its motion to compel arbitration, Disney said that the lawsuit alleges an agency relationship between landlord and tenant and argues that the only facts supporting this theories are representations about Raglan Road's allergy free food on the Walt Disney World website, while noting that Piccolo alleges that he relied on the website in choosing to dine at Raglan Road. This slightly combative framing may give some indication of how Disney will fight the lawsuit going forward. As of this writing, the company was in the process of filing their withdrawal with the court. In a statement, attorneys representing Piccolo and his wife's estate expounded at the length at the latest development. Quote, originally, Disney chose to file the motion to compel arbitration in this case. Brian R. Denny told Law and Crime in an email, although Disney has withdrawn this motion, the arbitration clauses they relied upon in their motion still exist in their various platforms, i.e., streaming service, entrance tickets to Disney's parks, etc. This potentially puts other people injured by Disney's negligence at risk of facing a similar legal challenge. The right to a jury trial, as set forth in the Seventh Amendment, is a bedrock to our judicial system and should be protected and preserved. Attempts by corporations like Disney to avoid injury trials um, and jury trials should be looked at with skepticism. The plaintiff's attorney went on, my client will continue to pursue justice on behalf of his beloved wife at the trial court level. He also hopes these recent events have raised awareness of the millions of people of all ages and walks of life who suffer food allergies. This awareness can help effectuate positive change to corporate food preparation and policies. So, yeah, I can't imagine, having to have a life or death decision based on what you eat. And I have been very blessed that none of my kids have allergies to things, but I could only imagine the minefield of trying to do normal things like going to a restaurant, making sure they don't use peanut oil or making sure that the fish isn't cooked, on the same pan um as the meat. Different things. I can only imagine that that has to be so very, very difficult to get all of that right and maintain that. And knowing that every time you're exposed to an allergen, the reaction gets that much more violent because you've built up more, self-attacking kind of antibodies. So I am glad that Disney decided to dial down its, evil to, a relative 10 versus the 11 that it was going for. But I still think that it is mildly alarming that when you would sign up for a free trial, they are trying to now hold that as a standard of getting you out of a jury trial. I'm glad it didn't fly, but as with a lot of, novel ideas, you try things until um, the spaghetti sticks on the wall. Audio coffee. I'm so sorry. It would be, yeah, it would be so hard. And I'm so glad that, you know, we have been able to figure this out. And some people are able to, live fairly, ably with EpiPens, but it would be a terrifying experience if you had to, everything is potentially deadly because you don't know how it's going to be cooked. Oh, no. Oh, poor guy. Well, guys, I am going to get off of here. I am getting ready to start or restart my speed watch of the Michael Jackson Bolanos trial. He was alleged to have unalived Samantha Wall, the prominent president of the Jewish synagogue or one of the Jewish synagogues in Detroit. Uh, we know because this is a rewatch and a speed watch that he was only convicted for lying to police. But as we are watching this trial, we really see the dearth of evidence that they have to actually link him successfully to this crime. And you have a semi confession while gummied of the ex boyfriend that it seems a little sus, if you ask me, in my professional opinion. So I will be doing that at 9:30. I will also be stitching, so it will be court and cross. I am going to try to do more trials like this where I do cross stitch. I am We've moved around my office, as you can tell. We are planning bigger things like maybe putting up backdrops and stuff this weekend, but I'm getting my uh, set up, if you will. So I should be able to start court and cross, and you guys can see me cross stitch if you so choose, while I watch, court cases. And we are watching this one because I was really interested to see how the jury became deadlocked. And we are only on day 2, but you can kind of see where the state doesn't have a really good, case at all. So it's an interesting trial. I will say that the defense attorney is very zealous and looks a bit like Darrell Brooks when he still had his dreadlocks. However, he knows lawful law much better, so I apologize for that comparison. And I will see you guys in a little bit. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. And, try to give people a couple compliments. I know it sounds silly and corny, but I don't people well. And since COVID and I got hurt, I have found that my social anxiety is much more. So I force myself to, compliment random people because, everyone can use a compliment and it's a way to force myself to people. I know, but I couldn't think of my own pattern for Sailor Moon. I'll see you guys in a bit. Let me set up and have a safe one. The world is super de duper crazy. Bye, guys.